Greetings everyone. So I'm making this video because I'm kind of annoyed at a lot of the vaccine talk I'm hearing about lately because it just doesn't make sense. A lot of it really doesn't make sense. The first thing I hear about is that the vaccine is an experiment, right? Well, here's the deal. Everything's an experiment. When you make coffee in the morning, you take your beans and you take your water and you heat them to a certain temperature and you put them together, and the concentration of the coffee you get is based on the number of beans, how fine you grind them, and the heat temperature of the water. Okay, so when you get a vaccine and you call it an experiment, yeah, when you wake up in the morning, that's an experiment. Can you wake up? Can your body function? All right, so calling something an experiment doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you're doing something. Okay, and I don't get why that's a big problem here going on. Another thing I've heard lately that's kind of absurd is the virus doesn't exist. And hey, I mean, you could talk to my cousin in the ICU, and he's seen more patients this year and last year than any other, and they're dying, and they're really, really sick. They put ventilators in them, and this is not something that people have ever seen. Something like, oh, I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Well, I mean, if people don't see you from Russia, do you not exist? Okay, it just means it's small. Somebody's claiming that in some CDC report, some lab said we did not have access to the actual virus, so they used amino acids to simulate it. Well, I mean, that just means their lab didn't have level 4 access to what's considered possibly a dangerous pathogen, or getting a concentration of the virus in those contents is not available. But you can go to Google Scholar, you can type in structure of COVID-19, and you can actually see the shape of the virus in 3D. You can actually download a program called PubChem if you want to, and then you can download what's called a PDB file, and you can look at all of the different shapes of different mRNA or proteins. Maybe not the whole virus because it's probably a little bit too big, but I mean, I don't know what's out there because you'd have to actually do some research on this. This is where you actually, if you take 2 to 3 hours and look through legitimate, published, peer-reviewed sources where people talk about their information, you should be able to find more information. Okay, here's the weird thing is people are talking about mRNA. I'm injecting trillions of mRNA into my body. Well, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, mRNA just means messenger RNA. And it's a signal for your body to make proteins. Okay, your body makes mRNA all the time. It doesn't go into the nucleus. There's nothing changing your DNA about messenger RNA. In this case, what's happening is it's giving a signal to the cell to tell it to make proteins. And what these proteins are the things that your body doesn't need. And so when your body starts to make these, your body goes, whoa, I don't need that. So then what happens is your body learns to recognize that this messenger RNA is bad, and it creates antibodies that swim around in your blood, find the target protein, and they neutralize it. Okay, so the idea here is that basically, so RNA, so you take DNA and you make RNA from it. All right, they're closely related to each other. They're not in the same place. I mean, RNA comes from the nucleus and goes out, all right, into the body, and then it makes proteins. Okay, so what they did was they took, let's say this comes from the virus, okay, and this is your RNA strand, and I'm just drawing it this way to make life easier. They take this little section right here, that would be the signaling protein on the end of whatever the virus has, and let's just say it's a carboxylic acid, okay, so it's going to have a negative charge, all right, so this is going to be negatively charged. And let's say your cell has a positively charged amine group here. Okay, so the two would meet, form a connection, and then the virus would go into your cell, and it would go in and potentially change your DNA. It would change which proteins are being produced. It actually takes over the manufacturing, and that's where you get KIF, your body's trying to get rid of all the stuff it doesn't need. Okay, so saying mRNA is dangerous doesn't actually mean anything. It's literally like, oh, everything, it's chemicals though, bro. I'm injecting chemicals. You know, everything's chemical. You're chemical. Your coffee is chemical. Everything is chemical. Saying something is chemical is bad doesn't mean anything. It literally has no meaning because everything's chemical. Maybe not light. Light might not be chemical. All right, there you go. But you could convert light into chemical if you could get the energy. Here's the other thing. The side effects of the vaccine are worse than the actual disease. Now, I mean, here's what I'm going to say. The side effects, probably not. Okay, there's a really good chance that if you get a lot of side effects from the vaccine, you might be one of those people that's really susceptible to the actual virus, and that makes you way sick. You could be, I mean, what's worse you know, you have like a sore arm for a couple days and you get some acne on your face, or you're in a hospital being intubated. You can't really say the side effects are worse than the actual disease because you don't know if that's true. And if you're really worried about an mRNA vaccine, the J&J vaccine, it's the same vaccine that they've been giving out for a couple hundred years. But people are like, oh, I get side effects. Well, you know, when was the last time you got a tetanus shot? They take they inject into your arm, and it's sore for a day or two. That's because your body is reacting and producing antibodies and changing its defense and building. Imagine, if you will, a World War I bunker where they bury things into the ground. Okay, this is thousands of soldiers for days digging and digging and digging. And this is basically what's happening inside your body. You're building a fortress so that the Germans can't come and invade you. Okay, and that's going to cause some side effects. And what's crazy is people don't think that they're Superman and they're not actually rest. You know, here's the deal. If you get a vaccine, take a day or two off. Okay, it's not the end of the world, and it's just get it done. I really don't get. If you have any questions about how the vaccine works, put a comment below and I'll try to address it. Thank you guys for your time. I really wish you all the best of luck. I've know too many people here that have been affected and just drive me nuts. I don't get it. I mean, especially now because, you know, 6 months ago I knew not getting to get the vaccine. It was new, but now literally 1 billion people have gotten the vaccine and they've got 10 deaths. I mean, if you do the odds, that's insane. I mean, just crazy. People are like, well, COVID's not a big thing. Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Measles and mumps don't kill you either. They just leave your immune system really weak, and then the flu can kill you. All right? So, anyways, I'm saying you probably should get the vaccine. If you really don't want the mRNA one, get the J&J vaccine. You can still catch COVID, especially the Delta variant, but you're less likely to die. I don't know. It seems like a good benefit, and especially if it's free. You're not paying for it. All right? If it was a $200 vaccine, I kind of get it, you know, but it's free. Just do it.